can we please talk about last week's fight home against Aldana and also the fights coming up this week, hell of a main event, Moraes against Sandhagen. I will get into all that in just a moment, but first off, let's do a quick wrap up of what happened last week. Well, how about this? My bets are back to their normal self in that they are just terrible. Case in point, I was pretty adamant that Condit is a finisher, right? Because he does. He finishes fights. Let's see what I had to say about Condit last week. Condit, which is why, and Condit is a finisher. He is a finisher. Yeah, so obviously, if you watch the fight, it didn't pan out too well for me. I mean, to be fair, I think it was after the second round. Like, he landed, if that had, I mean, it's all very well and good saying that, if the round had been 20 seconds longer, I hate it when people say that, and I almost just did it. So, yeah, the round wasn't 20 seconds longer, so you're shit out of luck, aren't you? You fuck, eh? And, yeah, so either way, he didn't finish him in that round, but he was close. And, yeah, so it ended up, I'll be honest, Condit still looked good, man. He still looked good. I think he's still got it. I think he still has it. I would very much like to see him matched up. I don't really know who with. I mean, like, there's all this talk about Diaz and Hardy, perhaps, and I don't know who would you match up Condit with next? Yeah, just put something in the comments. Either way, yeah, he looked very good. He looked very good. He hasn't missed a step. I would like to see him fight again in the octagon. And mate, yeah, who knows? Who knows if he can make another run at the belt or not? It's entirely up to him, I guess. Another one of my brilliant picks last week was De Castro, right? Joe, he's had so many walk-off knockouts that surely he's getting a walk-off knockout in the first round. You know, second round maybe. Either way, look, it's gonna be a knockout, all right? Yeah, roll the clip. And round one TKO knockout is 3.50. That's where I think this one is headed. But yeah, that one didn't pan out either. Not only did he knock him out, but yeah, it went to a decision, which is odd for these two guys because they're both very heavy hitters. And then, obviously, I had this to say about Holly Holm. I think a safe bet there is probably Holly Holm by knockout. Yeah, but you know what's even worse than the fact that obviously I picked all of them to get finishes and obviously I didn't. Do you know what's even worse? The only person on the card that was looking for the finish and found one was fucking Germaine de Randamie. By submission, no less. What? She's a Dutch kickboxer, man. She's a Dutch kick. Did she not read the memo? She's a Dutch kickboxer. Why is she looking for guillotines? Why does she even know what a guillotine is? She has no business doing guillotines on Juliana Pena and getting the submission win. Do you know what the odds would have been on that? I'm asking. I have no idea. I don't know what the odds were on that. But I imagine you'd have gotten 20 to 1 or better on that. 20 to 1 or better. Guaranteed. Good Lord. But yeah, fair play to Germaine de Randamie though, because I always liked Juliana Pena, the old Venezuelan vixen. It seems like she's hitting a bit of a rough patch, but I mean, if she keeps on going, as long as Germaine de Randamie, then at least she's going to have a lot of career left, because Germaine just seems to not stop. She seems to be speeding back up again. I think really the next logical matchup is to do a rematch with her and Holly Holm, isn't it? And see what happens there. Maybe get another title contender out of it. Who knows? But anyway, that is all I'm going to say on those ones. Let's move on to some MMA news. Oh, delicious. Top House 13 this week. Very good. Now, so, first up, I have actually the pictures on here as well, just so that I can physically see what it is that I'm bloody talking about. The biggest piece of news this week, obviously, in terms of making fights, is Conor versus Dustin. The fight has been accepted by all parties, apparently. Now, there was a lot of kind of, I don't know, there's a lot going on with this fight, because originally it was like, oh, okay, like, they want to do it for charity, keep the UFC out of it, and I brought this up last week. because I thought it was a bit strange on Dustin's part to turn down a fight with Tony Ferguson because he said the money wasn't right, and then to give up his time to go and fight Conor McGregor in a charity fight where he would be earning no money. That didn't make sense to me. So what do you do? I get the exposure that you'll get from fighting Conor McGregor at this point in your career, because don't forget they have already fought, and Conor McGregor did beat him in round 1. I'm pretty sure it was a first round TKO. He hit him right in the soft part of the head. I think that was what Conor said afterwards. It might have been, it was either him or Brandao that he said after. He's hitting the nice soft part of the head. It's like, I don't know why I'm doing a Marlon Brando impression there. But either way, yeah, that's a fun fight. Does it go down the same way as it did last time? Well, I don't know. I mean, they've both gotten older. You'd argue that Dustin's a very different fighter now, but you know, to his credit, so is Conor, and people kind of forget how good Conor is. Like, Conor is pretty fucking good, man. You know what I mean? It's only against... I picked against Conor too many times to pick against him at this point. You know, I just think that... But then again, you know, Dustin's boxing has come a long way and he's looked really good in his last few fights. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one to call, to be honest. A lot of it's going to be dependent on who turns up on the night, really. But I'll tell you one thing, though. Conor McGregor, like, because he has stipulated that... I mean, we could see this fight as soon as the 21st of November. That's pretty soon, actually. That's pretty... and that's a fight that I would love to see. But yeah, Conor said that he will still donate 500k to Dustin's charity, which is nice. That's a lovely thing to do. Conor's got a lot of money and he's not shy about spending it, but also he isn't shy about giving quite a lot of it to causes that he thinks worthy. So yeah, no, fair play to him. Fair play to him. But that is not the only fight that was announced this week. Happy Halloween, everybody, because we have got Uriah Hall taking on Anderson Silva on Halloween. On Halla-frickin-ween. Yeah, that's going to be a great fight. And I'll tell you why, because I remember when I saw... I can't remember which season it was of The Ultimate Fighter, but I know that it was the season that Kelvin Gastelum won. So it was a fair while ago, back when Kelvin Gastelum used to try and fight at welterweight, or... I think, or was it middleweight? It might have been at middleweight, that competition, because obviously Hall fights at middleweight as well. Either way, yeah, it was Chael Sonnen was the coach, I think. Yeah, it was Chael Sonnen against whoever. Either way, I forget, and I digress. But this is a great fight. Stylistically, it's brilliant. I mean, the thing is like Uriah Hall either turns up or he doesn't. You know, that historically speaking, like when you look at his fights, he either turns up and looks fantastic, or he looks like pretty lackluster. In fairness to Anderson Silva, he's 41, 42 now. He's not the same Anderson Silva that, you know, of 5 years ago, but he's still a beast. Don't be fooled. Anderson Silva can still turn your lights out, like, quick. Do you know what I mean? And stylistically, these are two very flashy, very flamboyant strikers, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice, explosive fight where we're going to see, hopefully, a big finish on one side or the other. I don't know. I just don't know. I think I might go with Anderson Silva in that one, because I just feel like Uriah Hall, he is very hit and miss. But he's been more hit than miss lately. I'll give him that. And he hits hard, man. He hits hard. And he's a very good striker. So, but I'm hoping that it doesn't turn into the glorified sparring match that we saw when Anderson Silva fought, what's his face? God damn, what is his name? Israel Adesanya. Middleweight champ. Why is that name falling out of my head? Too much drinking. That's what it is. Either way, yeah, when Adesanya fought Silva, I did kind of feel like that was more of a glorified sparring match. But it was still entertaining. It was still fun to watch. But I'm hoping for a few more fireworks, and I think this fight delivers. I really do. I think that's a really fun matchup to put together. Colour me excited. I am in. I'm all in. Yeah. So that's on the 31st, and then we've got a little bit of Bellator news here for you. So Bellator, November 5th, because obviously it was in the news like not too long ago that obviously Corey Overtime Anderson, he left the UFC and went to Bellator. Well, they have a matchup for him. They have a matchup for him, and it is in the form of the legendary kickboxer Melvin Manhoef. Now, do I think that that is a good matchup for Corey Anderson? Yes. Yes, I do. Because, if I'm totally honest, like Manhoef, he doesn't do very well against wrestlers. He's quite easy to... I don't want to call him easy to take down, but he is quite easy to take down. He hasn't looked in particularly good shape in quite a few fights now. I got to see him live in London. And whilst he's a big dude, and obviously he hits really hard, god damn it was that fight a snore fest. It was just... like, neither of them barely did anything. I think that Anderson, if he's smart, he'll just try and push a pace on Melvin Manhoef, because I don't think Manhoef's got the gas tank to really hang with really good athletes anymore. Because Manhoef, he's getting on, man. He's been around a while, and don't get me wrong, he is so legit when it comes to kickboxing. He can turn the lights out. I think it was him that fought Robbie Lawler, and he was kicking his leg out and broke Robbie Lawler's leg, but then Lawler knocked him out, and that was a hell of a good fight. Go back and watch that. But either way, that is a very... If I was Corey Anderson, I'd be very happy with that matchup, because I do feel like it favours him quite heavily. I think that is going to be a coming out party Bellator-wise for Corey Anderson, and he should come out looking really good. A bit of other news here. It's more of an opinion thing. What do you guys think about this? I'd like to see your opinions in the comments. Obviously, Trevor Jones, he got a win in the UFC not long ago. I think it was UFC Vegas 7. They've turned his win to a no contest because he tested positive for marijuana. Now, I'm asking, in what universe is marijuana a performance enhancing drug? I guess you can mask pain with it to a certain extent. But come on, man! Turning over wins because they smoked a bit of pot. I don't know about that. What do you guys think? You know, it's a bit of a divisive topic. I don't think it's that divisive, because I think most rational people in the MMA community believe that it shouldn't be something that you can test positive for. I don't think that that's really right. Yeah, but yeah, hard luck for Trevor Jones. Hopefully, he won't get too long of a ban, and he'll be able to come back quickly from that. And the other thing, I mentioned him briefly earlier. We have got a bit of a beef brewing between Jon Jones and Israel Adesanya, right? Because it's all kicking off on their social media, especially with Jon Jones. Jon Jones, as we see up here, like he's tweeting all the time about Israel, and it's crazy. Like, this guy is like literally saying, "Oh, don't be too overconfident, John." Costa said the same, and see where he got himself. Izzy looks more talented and faster than you, and it's just like, I don't know if that's true necessarily. I guess we'd find out if they ever fought, because it's just it's going to be an interesting one, because Jon Jones, he's been around for a long time. As you can see from this other tweet here, he mentioned it, he has been famous since he was 21. And and he's had to do it. I think we can all agree maybe he hasn't handled some of that fame as well as he'd have liked. I think he would maybe even agree with that. Who knows? But he has been famous since he was 21 years old, and like Joey, if I had his kind, I put myself like at 21, and I'm the UFC light heavyweight champion. I've got loads of money. Would I be a dickhead? Yeah, of course I would. So I say fair play to Jones. In fact, I'd have been more of a dickhead. I think Jon Jones has probably been very restrained, and fair play to him for being so restrained and for only being involved in a couple of DUI instances, because my numbers would have been significantly north of that. I think, honestly speaking, a lot of people would say the same. When people it's very easy to criticise Jon Jones for what he's done. But in a lot of ways, it's like, if you were in the same boat, you'd have probably done the same thing or worse. And I think that I definitely would have. I'd have done way worse. But on the subject of these two, Israel Adesanya and Jon Jones, it's like, well, I don't really... Yeah, okay, that's a huge fight. It is. It's a huge fight. I see that it's a better fight for Israel than Jones, though, because Jon Jones would be going down a weight division, and the problem is, whilst in reality we know that they're a similar size-ish, you know, and like the large middleweights are basically the same as a light heavyweight anyway, and we know that, but there's still the aesthetic that it's a smaller guy going up to fight a bigger guy. The smaller guy doesn't really have as much to lose. Like, Jon Jones wins, great, he's beaten a guy that was smaller than him, newer than him, and he should have beaten anyway. If he loses, then, you know, that's catastrophe. Whereas if Israel goes up to fight Jones and he loses to the consensus greatest of all time, who is also from a weight division above, then what's he really lost? He's lost nothing. He hasn't lost his belt either. So it's a no-lose situation for Israel Adesanya, and it's a big fight. So I see why he's goading Jon Jones. I just do not quite understand why Jones is taking the bait so much. Unless Jones is that confident that he'll just whip his ass. Let's be fair, Jones is pretty good. He's pretty good, so he might do it. Because like, I know a lot of people, like, they look at his performances and they go, oh yeah, but he vacated the belt because he was scared of Reyes. Piss off, he wasn't scared of Reyes. Like, Joe, do you think that a guy who is widely considered to be the greatest of all time, like, only lost on his record as a technicality, he's never been beaten, right? Do you think he's really scared of anybody, right? And going back to that fight, Jon Jones won. I don't care what people keep on going, oh, but everyone knows that Reyes really won that fight. Oh, did he? Did he win that fight? Judges didn't see it that way. And the thing is, it was a close fight. Yeah, okay, it was a close fight. Yeah, okay, Reyes won the first 2 rounds, but third round, not so sure. Fourth and fifth, definitely not. So when you have 2 definitely nots and 1 not so sure, how can you say that, oh, well, Reyes definitely won that fight? Definitely nothing. He didn't definitely win anything, because it went down in the books as a loss by decision. I'm sure that Reyes will come back, because Reyes is a real... And I'm not knocking Reyes. I'm knocking the people that keep going on about it, right? Because that brings me nicely into my MMA Troll of the Week. So, last week's Troll of the Week, because I was the only person that voted, let me know in the comments, because otherwise it's just going to be me voting for who I think is the MMA Troll of the Week. But last week's Troll of the Week, the winner is, I like it, I like the nice simplicity of it. A motivated Costa beats Israel Adesanya every time. A little throwback to the whole thing that's going on, where people keep on saying, well, a motivated McGregor would beat Khabib. You know, it's a nice, it works on a couple of levels. It's simple, there's no fat on it. Lovely troll. Lovely stuff. So let's move on to the 3 candidates this week. I've even got a couple of fighters involved this week. But the first one is this chat where they're talking about... I mean, I hope it's a troll. I'm pretty sure it's a troll, because he can't possibly be serious. Because if he's still seriously talking about George St. Pierre and Johnny Hendricks, then he has got something wrong with him. Like, he needs to let it go. Just like Johnny Hendricks let himself go. You heard me? Have you seen a picture of Johnny Hendricks lately? Good lord, it looks like he ate all the inventory from his failed steakhouses, and yeah, that's what it's like. I'm kidding. Oh god, that was so mean. Like, Johnny Hendricks was a great fight. I mean, say what? He's done more with his life than I ever did, so yeah, screw me, right? Fucking, but yeah, that is... But that fight with Johnny Hendricks... Well, I've watched it back. Like, George St. Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks, it wasn't even really a robbery. It was like... George St. Pierre was wearing more damage, but actually, when you really look at it, when you really watch the fight, it was close. It was close, and you can't call that a robbery. It's similar with the Jones-Reyes thing. You have to take the belt. You can't just equal the champ. But either way, I'm fairly certain that this is a troll job, so I'm putting it in the Troll of the Week category. So Troll of the Week, George St. Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks, still the biggest robbery in UFC history. And then, up next, we have got a tweet from the bad guy, the American gangster, Mr. Chael P. Sonnen. And don't forget that the P stands for icon. Yeah. So, Chael Sonnen, like, literally, he just put this out. I mean, he said somebody texted me this, and yeah, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But either way, Chael Sonnen's tweeted it, so I'm giving it to Chael Sonnen as a troll, as a potential troll of the week. Somebody texted me an interesting idea. Okay? Donald Cerrone versus Diego Sanchez. Loser retires. Winner retires. Oh, Uncle Chael. That is fantastic. That's wonderful. It's like, it's not too harsh, but, you know, because, let's be fair, they probably should start thinking about retirement soon. You know, win or lose. And you know what? That's a fun fight. I would watch the hell out of that fight. You could co-main event. That could main event a fight night. Easily. That could main event a fight night. Give those two a nice swan song. Send them off. Send them off both into retirement. And then we have got Till in Perry's corner. Now, this is like an ongoing thing. Like, there's quite a few of these, but I mean, the funniest one for me is just that he's that Darren Till, basically, Platinum Mike Perry put out this thing saying he's gonna comment on this thread or something, and I'll pick somebody to be in the corner with his missus, because obviously he only has his missus in his corner now. One cornerman, he's allowed 3. I'll pick this person to be in my corner. And Darren Till pipes up and he starts asking people to tag him in this post so that he can get put into this corner. And so yeah, now I'm in Platinum Mike Perry's corner. How much will someone pay me to throw in the towel? Then, you know, it's all going from there. But I mean, my personal favourite is let me find a picture. God damn, I can't actually find it. It's yeah, oh yeah, there it is. Just at the bottom here. This Darren Till's put his face onto Mike Perry's missus in their picture, and it's honestly, there's something about that cracks me up. And Darren Till is just excellent at trolling, so that's my candidate number 3 for Troll of the Week, is Darren Till, his various tweets going on with Platinum Mike Perry. Because that's the thing, it's a weird rivalry, this, because I don't know, are they going to fight or not? Because it's like, Perry's a lightweight, isn't he? Or is he a welterweight? I mean, obviously Darren Till doesn't fight at welterweight anymore, he fights at middleweight, so I don't think it's even a fight that's necessarily going to happen. But man, there seems to be a lot of beef there. And one thing that I have, found out is that, good lord, Mike Perry is bad at trash talking. He just is. It's just not good trash talk. A lot of it is just, I don't know, you're trying to trash talk with Darren Till, and Darren Till was pretty witty, man. It's so funny. He just seems to go for these, really, stupid, Perry's comebacks. Like, oh, man, y'all are so pathetic. Y'all choking on Darren Till's dick. Your England's so old and shit, you ain't got nothing better to do but dream about American girls. Because he's just basically saying, oh, your girls are ugly. And blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, there was another thing. It's just not good trash talk. It's equivalent to when Eddie Alvarez was trying to talk, was trying to trash talk. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Eddie Alvarez was trying to trash talk Conor McGregor, in their build-up. It's like Eddie, don't try and trash talk Conor McGregor because your trash talk is terrible. Literally, he went up on the stage and started trying to make fun of his fans, going, yeah, you can't even say the number 13 properly. You say 13. It's like, what the fuck was that, mate? That is terrible trash talk. That is awful. You need to just sit there silently. Don't say anything if that's the best you're going to come out with, because you just made yourself look really stupid. And then it's like, and Platinum Perry's coming out with the same kind of things, saying, English breath smells worse than anal sex. It's like, well, really, that all depends on what kind of lube you're using, Mike. I mean, come on. It's like, if you're using the bad smelling lubes, and yeah, it's like, and also, why are you going into rooms just sniffing around for anal sex? It's like, this isn't a scratch and sniff porno, you know. It's like, and it's just the easy thing to go for, isn't it? Oh, you're English, you must have. It's like, yeah. Good one, Mike. Good one. Oh my god. Oh no. English people's breath stinks. Our feelings are so hurt. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm sure that's going to hurt Darren Till's feelings as well. And it's just, I don't know. I find it funny. Bless him. But yeah, so it's a lot going on between Till and Perry. Again, I'm not really quite sure why. Because obviously Darren Till's fighting Hermanson, isn't he? And he's got nothing to do with the welterweight division. So, yeah, I don't know. It's entertaining to watch on Twitter, though. I do enjoy seeing it. So this week we've got UFC Fight Night. We've got Moraes against Sandhagen, right? Now, this is actually a very good fight because I really like Marlon Moraes because actually I think he kind of got hard done by when he beat Jose Aldo, right? I thought he won. Now, was it close? Yes. Yes, it was a close fight. Entertaining fight from start to finish. It really was. But I thought that Moraes actually did enough to edge it. And then the judges agreed. And then everyone threw their toys out the pram. And then they gave Jose Aldo a title shot. And Moraes hasn't had a sniff of a title shot since. Even though he beat Jose Aldo. I get it. Okay, you want to give Jose Aldo the title shot because he's a legend of the sport and everything else. And yeah, great. That's fine. Go ahead. But don't punish someone because they got a win. That's crazy. That is crazy, right? And Marlon Moraes, people forget what he used to do, what he has done to people. He's a very capable fighter. Very capable. He is a finisher. His stand-up is brilliant. I think he's a Muay Thai black belt. He's got very good Muay Thai. And his submissions are excellent as well. He actually submitted Rafael Sanzo, right? Now you've got Sandhagen on the other side. Now Sandhagen, he's quite big for a bantamweight. I think it's a bantamweight fight, this. And so he's 5'9" with a 70-inch reach, so that's interesting. But he beat Sanzo by decision and he beat Lineker. Lineker's a hell of a scalp. But I've got to say, I do think that I like Moraes in this fight because I think Moraes is just a very good striker. He's got excellent submissions as well. I think he's got more ways to win this fight. So he's actually, if you look at the odds here, he's coming in as an underdog. 210 for the win, 375 for the knockout, probably the most likely option there. Submission 7.50, and that's perfectly possible. Do you know, he guillotined a Sansal, so yeah, that's perfect. He's very good at submissions. He can catch her. Decision is 6.50, right? So yeah, just the win there is worth a go. But I think that the knockout 3.75 is pretty good. But decision, because don't forget, this is smaller weight class, generally speaking, they find it more difficult to get the finishes. So 650 on the decision. That's pretty good odds there. But on the other side of it, you've got 1.73 for Sandhagen to win. Submission, the KO is 4.33. Submission 7s and decision 3.75. So yeah, I mean, for me, my pick is Moraes by knockout. I do think Moraes is his striking is very, very good. I think it's probably on a slightly better level to Sandhagen. Maybe he'll queue next week when it'll be Sandhagen by knockout. But either way, my pick on that one, Marlon Moraes by knockout, and with the odds at 3.75, that's not a bad bet to make. Quite like that. Edson Barbosa against Amikani. I can't remember how to say his name. Amikani. Anyway, I like Amikani in this fight. Oh, my handwriting is just bloody terrible there. I'm going to have to just quickly get a typed out version of his bloody name. Because I have seen him before. He trains with... he trains at SPG Ireland. And... Amikani. God damn it, my handwriting is so bad. Yeah, I thought it was Amikani. Amikani, yeah, he is a legit submission expert. He's got 11 submissions, right? And his 16 wins, so 11 of them by submission. So when you're putting him against Edson Barbosa, Edson Barbosa has not had the best run lately. I mean, don't get me wrong, when Edson Barbosa is on form and he's able to keep the fight standing and he can just pick you apart, that's what he's going to do. He is going to pick you apart. And we've seen him do it to many people. That demolishing of Dan Hooker was just hard. It was hard to watch, But he hasn't had a good run of it lately. I don't feel like he's looked good enough to warrant the fact that he's a 1.36 favourite. I don't think he's looked good enough to warrant that. And actually, I do feel like if this goes to the ground, Amikani he's gonna have a huge advantage, which is why, like I said, you've got all the odds up here. The one that stands out for me is the submission. Amikani 6.50. Lovely. That's a terrible bet. Terrible, but I'm taking that because I think that Edson Barbosa He just hasn't looked good lately, and he's not at a point in his career where he's necessarily going to start looking better and better. It's kind of sliding the other way. So yeah, this might be the time to cash in with Amirkhani as an underdog. And then we've got the heavyweights. Heavyweights getting in Ben Rothwell, Marcin Tybura, and again, I find it a little bit like, I know that Rothwell's good, and he has had a few wins lately, but they haven't been spectacularly impressive wins, and he's not at the point of his career where he's getting better. He's just not. Whereas Marcin Tybura, he's on a 2-fight streak. He is coming in as an underdog here. So you've got Rothwell's 1.57 favourite. Marcin Tybura is 2.38 against. And for the knockout or the submission, either one is 10-1. That's crazy. Just to get the finish. I mean, Tybura does tend to get decisions. He does tend to get a lot of decision victories. But these are heavyweights, guys. These are heavyweights. So if you're giving me 10-1 on a heavyweight that I think is likely to win, and you're giving me 10-1 on him to get the knockout, I'm going to take that all day. That's a license to print money, baby. Yeah, that's a terrible bet. Just, he wins so many decisions. Do not bet on him by knockout. He wins so many decisions, but I am betting on him by knockout. I'm just throwing it out there, right? Because the thing is, what I've done here is Tybura and Amirkhani, right? If you put them together, because I genuinely think that those two are going to win. They're both underdogs, but I think that they're both in a position. They're both in very winnable fights, and because Amirkhani, he's 3.25, on his own. So you put them together, and you get 7.72. Beautiful. I'll take that all day. I will take that all day. And if you want to get really crazy, I'm not saying you should, but if you wanted to, what you might want to do is just get Tybura with a cheeky knockout and also get Amirkhani with a cheeky submission. Pop those together. What do you have? Yeah, that's right. It's a terrible bet, but it's 65-1. 65-1. I'm having a fiver on that. I don't normally put more than a quid on the really crazy ones, but I'm having a fiver on that. Who knows, right? Shoot for the stars, and you might get the moon. Hey? Hey? Yeah, there you go. But we'll see how all those bets pan out. It's going to be a really fun night of fights, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.